Hi guys, I'm Kelly Ashley from the Life Clinic, and today in this video we're going to be covering the one most important thing you can do to kickstart your recovery today, like right now. Okay, so not only is this the most important step that you can take, it's also the first step in this journey that you're on to recovery. Because what it's about is it's about gathering information and creating foundations so that all the other steps of the program can fall into place, and you know all that you need to know to really attack those issues at the heart of them and resolve them to put your system back into normal balance. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to explain all of that. Okay, so the thing that we're covering today is what I like to call a symptom log. So I use this with my clients, and it's so important, because before I describe it you're going to think, oh yeah, it's just going to be another case of writing things down and a bit boring. But actually what it gives us over time, over space of logging these symptoms, is it gives us an indicator of the key contributors to your illness. It tells us the cause. Now that is incredibly empowering. When you know the cause, you can then look at different avenues of what you're going to use to resolve that cause. And that was the catalyst for me that created healing. So it's so vital and so important, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. So what I want you to know before you start is that this symptom log isn't about just logging any symptom. It's about logging quick to rise, quick flare-ups, symptoms that come on within a few minutes. All of a sudden you think, oh God, this is so much worse than it was a few minutes ago. Or you haven't had it, like a migraine, and all of a sudden it hits and you think, what's going on? This has come up. We're looking for quick to rise symptoms. Okay, so I'll show you how the symptom log works, but I don't want you to log every single symptom that you have generally. I only want you to log the ones that are quick to rise, because what they'll tell us is they'll show us the things that are kicking the symptoms off and keeping the condition in place every single day. Because if you can resolve those and lift those out of your day and you're not having those flare-ups, really the condition becomes so much easier to actually resolve and heal. Okay, so quick to rise symptoms, when you get quick to rise symptoms within maybe 5 minutes, sometimes they come on in seconds. For me, if it was fainting or loss of consciousness that was going to happen, I knew pretty quickly that was coming on. So it makes it easier for you to then look at what's just been happening and gather some information about what could be the cause. Okay, so your symptom log is going to look something like this little one I made earlier. Okay, so we've got symptoms on this side here, and we've got triggers on the other side. So symptoms are going to be anything that you experience that's quick to rise. I'm saying this all the time because I really want you to remember this. Quick to rise symptoms, something that happens quickly, happens within a few seconds, a few minutes, was something that comes on abruptly, that wasn't quite there before or wasn't as intense before. This is what you're listing here. Okay, so you might get up and you're absolutely exhausted first thing in the morning. You don't need to write that down. It's not a quick to rise symptom. But if slightly later on in the day you feel faint, you feel dizzy, or you suddenly get a migraine or throat pain that you didn't have before, whatever's going on, hot flushes, these are the ones you want to write in here. And then you're going to look at the trigger. So the trigger is something that we don't know yet. We're just finding out, we're gathering information about it. So the trigger is something that I want you to think about. So when this symptom happens, you're going to write it down, and then you're going to think, what could be the trigger? What have I experienced within the last 15 minutes that could be the cause of that symptom that we've got now? And I'm going to give you a tip. It's almost always emotional. Okay, now you might find that there's a certain food or a certain thing that you're consuming or drinking that kicks off some symptoms. That is a possibility, and that's why this is important, because it'll help us recognise those things in future. But generally when we're looking at triggers, we're looking at something that happens that is emotionally based, and I'll give you a clue on what some of these things are. So quite often it's something like you weren't able to say no, or someone insulted you, or you weren't able to express how you felt, or you weren't able to take part, or you felt embarrassed. It's almost, almost always emotions based. So when something like that symptom has just happened and you've written it down, I want you to think, who was I talking to? What was I doing? Where was I? How did I feel? And just note down a few notes about what could be the possible trigger. And the possible trigger you might think is a parent, a partner, or someone specific. It's usually an emotional issue. But don't worry about that for now. You're just going to write all of that down. And then what you're going to find is within a couple of weeks, when you look over that, probably a space of 2 weeks, you're going to start to see similarities and you're going to start to see themes. And these themes are specific and unique to you, and they are so, so important, because it's these themes that are the creators and contributors to your illness, and resolving them will completely change how you feel daily in your physical, mental and emotional health. I can promise you that, absolutely, okay? Don't worry about how to fix them. I'm going to give you a tip for something you can do right now, and we can also look at longer term solutions later on, but for right now, the technique that I'm going to teach you is stop, reflect, adjust. Okay, it's really simple. This is part of the program. Stop, reflect, adjust. Okay, so when your symptom comes up, you're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to reflect on what's just happened. What did you just consume? Who were you just talking to? How did you feel? What was going on? Have a little think about it. That's your reflecting time. And then you're going to adjust the behaviour of what you were doing before that's more in alignment, where the symptoms don't come on, okay? Now I must stress, this isn't a long-term solution, but it can definitely change your daily experience of how things are going. It can make a big change. So stop, reflect, adjust. So I'll go through that again. Symptom comes up, a quick to rise symptom. You recognise the symptom, you stop. You're going to write it down, okay? You're going to check the symptom. You're going to reflect on what's just happened. Who was I talking to? What did we discuss? How did I feel? You know, what could be the possible emotional cause of this experience? What else did I consume? What could be the reason? Just write a few ideas down, a few themes. And that's what's going to happen, is when you look back over time, you're going to see the changes. Then you're going to adjust. So you're going to think, okay, so what can I do differently? So if I'm doing an activity at the moment and I think that's the cause of it, let's change that activity. If I'm doing something at this time, if I'm discussing something that's creating symptoms, if I'm getting into an area that's causing problems, consuming something that's causing problems, I'm going to adjust that behaviour. And that is something that will almost immediately shift you out of that flare-up. It's your body is communicating with you, and it wants you to stop the behaviour or the thing that you're doing because you're not being true to you. Okay, and you'll find that that's a theme you'll find as you fill in this symptom log. You'll find that it's generally because you're not being true to you, and that's okay, because that's the road that we're on, and we're looking to heal that and change that, and it'll all be okay. Okay, so I want to see you doing your symptom logs. You can contact me and let me know how it's going. We can all talk about it if you're in the support group as well, and this will really help. As I say, this is the first step to recovery, so you've just learned the new first part, right? You've taken the first step. Way, well done. So this is absolutely the first step. There are more steps in this. There are other things that need to be done, but this is a valuable thing that you've began with, and I'm really, really pleased, really proud of you too, because it's not easy, but I'm with you. It's okay. It's going to be okay. So if you liked this video, if you found it helpful, or if you want to learn a bit more about the next steps in the journey, maybe you just want to jump right in and start the journey in the programme now, I'll leave a little link below to the full recovery course. You can learn a bit more about it and see if it's a fit for you. And failing that, I will speak to you in the next video, where I'm going to actually be introducing you to EFT, which is the energy healing modality that I use to get well. And I'm going to show you a bit about that, tell you a bit more about it so that you understand it, you know how it works, and how you can utilise it to create a full and lasting recovery. Thanks a lot, guys. See you soon. Bye.